What's up, guys? Today we're going to attempt to recreate the iconic guitar tone of Slash from Guns N' Roses. First, I'm going to show you what type of equipment you'll want to use, and I'll give you some budget options too if you don't have the budget for expensive amps and whatnot. So I'll show you the equipment, and then we're going to plug in and play and see what kind of sounds we can get and see how close we can get with various pedals and whatnot. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to need is a Gibson Les Paul. I have a Studio Deluxe 2 Les Paul. If you don't have a real Les Paul, you can try an Epiphone Les Paul. Or any guitar with two humbuckers should get you in the ballpark. Next is the amp. I actually have two different Marshall amps that I'll be testing for this video. The first one is a vintage JCM 800 Marshall 2205 version. The other one is a Marshall 1987X, which is a Plexi reissue. To my ears, the 1987X sounds closer to the Slash tone. He actually uses a Marshall Jubilee amp usually, but I know he's used these other ones throughout his career, so we'll test them. We'll see which one is preferred. If you guys don't have an amp like this, you can get a Marshall in a box type pedal to emulate a JCM 800, which Marshall actually makes pedals like this, or 1959, or whatever. So find a pedal like that. And you could get it from different companies too, because plenty of companies make Marshall in a box type pedals. The only other things we're going to need are a wah pedal. I have the Dunlop 535Q wah pedal. I have two different Overdrive pedals that I'm going to compare. They're similar. So we have a Ibanez Tube Screamer and a Boss SD1. Both Slash would use for a mid-rangey crunch for heavier solos or riffs. The last thing is a chorus pedal. So I have the Boss Chorus CH1 pedal. Slash typically would use the MXR stereo chorus. This Boss pedal is the closest I have to that. So without further ado, let's plug into the amps and see how they sound. First up is the JCM 800. Let's hear that by itself. Slash's core tone would be just his guitar straight into the amp. The pedals are only auxiliary things. Next, we're going to use the 1987X. I am looking at the Gibson recommended settings for a Slash tone. I will adjust as needed to sound more like what I think he would sound like. So let's hear that one. Now let's try comparing the two different Overdrive pedals into each amp, see what kind of flavors we get. They'll ultimately do the same thing as each other, but it'll just be a slightly different sound. I am using settings that Slash would use, which is low gain, high volume, and pretty moderate tone level on the pedals. Next up is a classic for Slash, the wah pedal. I found certain settings for my 535Q. So he has a more mid-rangey, throaty wah pedal setting compared to some other brighter settings that other modern players would use. Let's see what we can get out of that. Now let's try the Boss chorus pedal. So Slash live typically gets his clean sounds just by rolling the volume back on his guitar, and I think he mostly uses the neck pickup for the clean tones. So we shall do that and stomp on the chorus pedal. Something like the verse of Sweet Child of Mine he uses a chorus pedal for. So let's see if we can get something like that. So we have our pedals and amps and guitar set. How does Slash play? Well, most of his guitar riffs are going to be on the bridge pickup. And most of his solos, or a lot of his solos, are going to be using the neck pickup with the tone rolled back quite a bit, such as the Sweet Child of Mine intro or the solo. Let's hear how those sound. Anything in the key of A minor or E minor, or even the key of G, is a good start. If you wanted to, say, make a riff like Slash, all relative to the tuning as well. And open chords and the big power chords are a big part of the sound as well. So I hope you guys liked this tutorial. Let me know what you think. I know I don't have his exact equipment, but we work with what we got. I know you guys are probably not going to have his exact equipment either. This is a new series I'm doing where we steal that tone from certain players. I have a few more in mind that I'll be doing soon. Let me know what you want me to do next. We'll see you next time.